Actually going to clean this really fast. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, welcome back to the Padilla family homestead. And my shirt is making my face glow like crazy. It's kind of funny. Um, it's a Monday night. I just got home from work. I haven't even had dinner yet. So it's 7 o'clock here. But I wanted to make sure that I jumped on and did the live with you guys. And this topic is a little off topic for my normal lives or homesteading style videos. But I think it's an important topic, and it's something that's come up a lot the last 2 days. Well, actually, like the last week, but especially the last 2 days. Um, and I've talked a little bit about this in Tea Times with Jen videos, and if you're new, I have a whole 2 seasons of Tea Time with Jen videos where my husband and I, or me and a guest, or sometimes I by myself, will go over a topic about living with intention. And I've talked about this a little bit in those. But with the current state of affairs in our country here, and a lot of times, a lot of places in the world, I think it's something else. I think it's something that we need to keep at the forefront of our minds, and that is approaching or living in uncertain times or higher stress times, and still having peace. And you can imagine this is July 22nd, 2024, when we're live right now. And there are some events that have happened in our country that have people a little bit more on edge. I think there's a lot of questions about things that are going to be happening over the next few months, and what does this mean? And I think that there's a lot of things that we don't have answers to, and we're not going to until they happen. Um, I'm being very vague on purpose because I think these principles don't just go for the political climate that's happening right now. I think these principles guide for just about everything in life. I have had a very stressful life at a lot of different phases of my life. Um, I have not handled stress well at all so many times. And then there are other times where I handle it great and I have so much peace. And I think there's something to be learned from going through those life experiences. And something that I share regarding that. And those practices have personally helped myself, my husband. They've helped my daughter. They've helped some friends and other family members. And if you just focus on everything going on, basically the storm around you, you can get so overwhelmed. Like, so ridiculously overwhelmed. You can have so much lack of hope. And have a very high level of stress. And some people don't even realize how stressed they are because they are chronically stressed all the time. And living with uncertainty, living with having a hard time going paycheck to paycheck, and trying to figure out how things are going to work together, having health issues. There's so many different areas in life where you have to live with uncertainty. Um, I mean, I'm just going to shoot off a few things that I've dealt with in life. I'm going to go very vague, but I'm going to shoot off a few of them. And Then I'm going to talk to you about how me switching to intentionally choosing to find peace and to live in peace, how that switched everything. So, I grew up with a kid sister who had a disability. Um, Home can be kind of stressful, doctor's appointments. My parents got divorced when I was 19. Yeah, my sister died when I was 18. My parents got divorced when I was 19. Um, and there was a lot of learning and doing things out on my own. I had some major health problems due to not dealing with stress well. I literally couldn't eat anything except for like steamed vegetables. I was so sick, and my body just stopped processing. I later was in a relationship that was not a healthy relationship, and um, that's it lasted for a few years. It was a rough breakup. Went into split custody, raising my daughter with. We did high conflict co-parenting courses. Now, we were not nearly as high conflict as some people, but we were definitely more high conflict than other people. So it's all a matter of what you're comparing it to. Um, and I mean, doing the single mom life, I had dental struggles. These are dentures. I had a ton of health problems, infections that I fought. My daughter has been sick almost for an entire year with an unknown disease situation, and then miraculously just was better, and we still don't have answers to what happened. My husband got injured, and we had no income coming into our home for 2.5 months, and trying to rent and pay rent and have food and everything else. I we've had one thing after another thing, and that's just a quick sum up. That's not everything. It's just a quick sum up of some of the negatives that have happened in my life. Now, there's a whole lot more positives that have happened, but for purpose of this video, that's what I'm talking about right now. And how we respond to a storm around us, how we respond to people around us, to emergency situations, how we respond is our choice. And it's very important to realize that that is our choice. We don't always have a choice of what's being thrown at us. Another one, my mom had cancer around the same time my daughter was really sick. I've had a cousin who's had cancer. There's lots of, my aunt had cancer. Like, there's so many people who have had health issues and big things happen. And those things you can't control. We live in a world where there's chemicals and all kinds of stuff. There's all kinds of electric waves going around, and the odds for cancer are higher. And the illnesses that are out there can happen. My sister dying, you can't control. Like, sometimes people die way before you want them to. My husband being injured was unexpected, and it would lasted for a long time, and he's still dealing with the repercussions from that. My daughter's illness was a mystery to all kinds of medical professionals, and so we couldn't control any of those things. The only thing we could control is how we respond. And so when I did not intentionally respond well, and I didn't intentionally find peace in turmoil situations, I got sick. I mean, my body just does not handle stress the right way. Now, if I'm stressed out and I'm not handling it well, my blood pressure spikes. So things change, and each person is different in how they deal with it and how stress affects them. But when you are sitting there focusing on it and dwelling on it and intentionally, like, that is what you're, well, unintentionally, that is all that you are consuming. That's going to build, and that is going to feed the fire within you of concern, unrest, unease, all of those things. And if you, though, choose to intentionally do things and focus on things that are more positive, you will physically feel the effects of that. That's what you'll be feeding, is that calming effect. And I think depending on the situation, depends on how you do this. So one of the things for us is why we buy in bulk a lot. And we had a bulk pantry. Right now I don't so much because I'm living in somebody else's garage, and that would be where we stored a bulk pantry, but that's our room. So I don't do that as much right now. But I 100% fully believe in it. I still have bulk wheat berries, and I still have bulk sugar, and I bulk spices. It's just not on the level that I would want to have it normally. And that's okay. So we had a bulk pantry because we experienced what it was like to go without a paycheck for 2.5 months. And now we did have my mom, thankfully, help us with our rent, help cover our rent, and we paid her back for that. And our bills, we couldn't push off, that we needed to push off, like we tried to push off as long as we could. But there were certain things that we needed. And so she was able to do that. But all of our food and we primarily ate off of what was in our pantry. And then the other portion of what we got was from the food banks. And it worked. We didn't have high stress regarding eating. Like, everyone's like, do you need food? Do you need this? No, actually, we're not that bad right now. I had flour, I had yeast, I had salt, so we could do bread. I had some meat in the freezer, and we would get meat from the food bank. And we had canned vegetables and some frozen vegetables, and we had stuff. And after that, and realizing how much peace came in being prepared, that's when I was like, oh, I need to build a pantry. And that was one of the hardest things with moving, was losing that pantry, right? And so, because we really dwindled down a lot of stuff. So being prepared, intentionally being prepared, was something I could do to find peace in a turmoil situation. And so in the instances where people are sick, I think that changes, because you can't, there's not always ways. I mean, you can be prepared food wise for if the provider of the house is sick, or the provider needs to take care of somebody else, or whatever it is, for that financial aspect of it. But the emotional preparedness that's something different. And that one really comes down to our faith. And I think it was really funny. At church on Sunday, our pastor actually said something that I was like, that's actually true. And so he said, Christians are one of the only religions who have peace about dying. And I know that kind of sounds weird, and but it's true, because this is just such a short part of our life, and eternity is what it's about. And so for me, when processing and healing with people dying, um, or being sick, or having the possibility of that happening, um, I really come back to their heart, and where they're going to spend eternity. And obviously, I can't know where somebody's going to spend eternity. That's not my job. I'm not judge or juror. Um, but I get to read the fruits of their life and be able to discern an idea by the fruits that they show. And so for me, that brings a level of peace in dealing with things. And I think with that, trying to make sure I say what I'm trying to say and not just like, so I think with that, it's not that you are okay or want to lose somebody, or you're okay or want somebody to be sick. Um, but you know that you don't have control over it. And so the one thing I do have control over is how I react, or if somebody who's sick, like how they react to the situation and what they choose to look at. And um, being able to interact with people that you may never have interacted with otherwise. Um, the countless stories I have of people who met certain people during chemo treatments or in the NICU, or um, whatever the situation is. The number of doctors we met going to doctors for my sister, um, the people we came in contact with my daughter's situation, and those are all lives that we get to impact and new people that come into them. And so we can look at that as a positive silver lining. We can look at, I think, intentionally cherishing the time. And I think it's amazing how busy we are and how we don't have time for people sometimes. And then all of a sudden, they're sick, and you have all the time in the world. And so it helps shift your perspective and what's important. And you try to do things that you're not going to have regrets. And I think, why don't we do that now? Why don't we do that intentionally every day? Build that community, build that time, make the phone calls. And I still struggle with the phone calls. I get busy just like anybody else. This is something that I'm working on in my own life, because my family will probably call me out on this one. Um, but make the phone calls, spend the time, have people over for dinner, do the game nights, stay late after church, whatever it is. Like, I, somebody commented that they think it's cool that I have no problem that my husband, like, goes off and gets to go spend guy time. Like, I don't have a problem with it. Like, he needs guy time. This is something that he's craved and he wants and he loves, and it's something that is very good for his soul. So why would that be something that I want to take away from him? Yes, do I want to spend all kinds of time with my husband? Absolutely, I do. I love him to pieces. We're one of the couples that love to spend as much time as we can together. If we could not have outside jobs and both be home together all the time, it's like the happiest time of our lives. So don't get me wrong on that, but I think it's important to build that relationship outside of each other as well. And um so why do we wait till somebody's sick or dying? Why do we wait until our relationships are on the verge of a divorce? Or why do we wait until there's a custody battle? Or why do we wait until somebody's moving across country? Why do we wait? Why don't we intentionally do things now, right? And so that's focusing on that, like intentionally doing things and preparing, so you're not going to have regrets during that time. Now, what this video is actually like titled is finding peace when the world or your surroundings are in turmoil. I think that all of those same principles that we just talked about for all of those different same stresses or problematic situations still come into play. We are in unprecedented times with um, high conflict situations, um, where the President Trump was shot. We have new people entering the race. Um, we have unrest in communities. Very big differences in views, and there's a lot of times violence is coming out. There is concern with world situations, how the rest of the world is viewing us. That's something that has been brought up multiple times. What if a war was to start? What if our infrastructure was to go down? What if there's a lot of what ifs. And the thing that I'm gonna say is I think this falls into more of the category like when my husband was hurt, for a lot of the what ifs. And this is one of the reasons I don't think it's wrong, and I don't think it's unbiblical to prepare. I think God showed many times in the Bible where he called people to prepare. They stored up wheat for 7 years, for 7 years of famine. Um, they built an ark for like 100+ years, and with no rain, and nobody knew what it was like. They just faithfully did it, because they were told what was coming. And I think that, yes, when we die, we don't take any of this with us. So in the end, all of this stuff is nothing to me. Um, but while I'm here, I'm supposed to steward it well. And I'm supposed to, not supposed to be idle. And I am supposed to be providing for my family and making sure the food is on the table, and doing all those things, the Proverbs 31 woman. And I think that having a stocked pantry is wise. The concept of a grocery store is so new. It is so new. And in the span of history, grocery stores are new. And most people gardened. They had gardens. I mean, World War II, you had the Victory Gardens. People, all the generations before that, they canned their food. They did stuff. They knew that they ate seasonally with what they can grow. Yes, you can have some stuff imported, but it was different. The flour that we buy now and we eat was the fancy flour, because you didn't have mills like that everywhere, and they didn't have it sifted out and stuff. It was all the whole wheat freshly ground. And it's just, we live in a very, very different time than when most people in history lived. And we live a very spoiled, I think, life in a lot of ways. And so, if all these things are unsettling, and this life is unsettling, and the future is unsettling, I say learn how to build a fire, learn how to cook over fire, have some cast iron, know how to have clean water for your property, whether you have a well or not. Get some life straws, do what you need to do to have clean water. Be able to have skills, like, can you garden? Do you have seeds? I mean, this thing isn't gonna be like crazy amount of food, but it's better than nothing. And put stuff away. Eat it. Go through it. Don't just put it away and just stick it in a bucket and never touch it. Put it in a bucket and rotate through it, and then reorder it as you've gone through it. And it should be a working pantry. It's have stuff. I mean, if you really want the MREs and the freeze dried stuff, great, get some of those. But having that's only going to last for so long. Having skills and having the ability to do stuff, having the knowledge on how to dehydrate, on how to can, and okay, you can't get to the store and get shampoo, it's all sold out or whatever. Okay, what can you do to wash your hair? Like, what are you doing for hygiene? And um figuring figure some of that out. That brings so much peace in such a turmoil situation. No, it's not going to be perfect. No, it's not going to be easy, but you know how to handle part of the situation, and you know that some of these things are going to be alleviated. You cannot change what somebody else is going to do. You cannot change how other people behave, but you can change how prepared you are and how you react to that situation. And so for me, I'm building community. um I do believe in the Second Amendment, and I do plan on learning. This is a skill that I don't have, so I'm going to be learning how to shoot and so forth, because I think it's an important skill. It's something that I'm not confident in. I haven't done that since I was like junior high or something like that. So that is a skill that I think is important. Um, we have life straws. We have cast iron. We know somewhat how to cook over stuff. I have paper books, um, how to forage, and what plants are medicinal and which ones aren't, and things to be aware of. How to turn things into medicine. Having alcohol on hand. I'm not a big drinker, but guess what? I have alcohol on hand, and one, for vanilla extract, but two, I can make tinctures and use herbs to create medicine. That's one of the next things I want to really get into, is learning how to do those things, because these are skills that people used to have. It was a regular occurrence, and it wasn't it wasn't so odd as it is now. And so in how to find peace, one, in a turmoil situation, one, change your perspective. Who's in control? And depending on who you have in control in your life is going to be um, different on how you find your peace. Um, for me, this life is a short period of time. And if I live to 100 years old, I will be so happy. And I will get to meet tons of people. And I will get to watch my daughter get married and have kids, and watch her kids grow up and live the life, right? Be able to be married to my husband for a long time and grow old together. There's so many things that would be amazing. But I'm also, if not, I'm excited to worship God and be in heaven. So it's a balance right there. And then doing something. What are you doing about it? And so if you have something you are scared of or fearful of, or that something is working toward you and stealing your peace, figure out what it is. Figure out what it is. And if it is something you can change, learn, control, then fix it. It may take some time, but you're working towards it. And you're learning things and you're doing things, and it will help you to find peace in some of the situations, because knowledge is power. And I think that that is something that a lot of people forget a lot of times. And one of the reasons why I think the internet can be dangerous sometimes, because things can be changed. Things can, eh, online books can be edited, and you just didn't know they got edited. Um, Pictures aren't what they are of. They have been artificially created. Recipes that are posted are not tested. There's all kinds of things that it could be dangerous for. And so people stealing that knowledge and the capability of having knowledge. It's one of the reasons why I like tried and true books that people have used. And so when I watch videos, like the Honeystead has done some videos on herbal stuff, and I like put a bunch of her books that she really likes that she uses in my Amazon wish list. So then I can go through, and I've ordered a bunch. People have ordered some for me, and I still have some on there. And going through and how to use them and try to learn how to look at them. And I want to intentionally start looking at it now and learning before I need to use it. And hopefully I'll never need to use it. But it's still a cool skill to have. And I think that's important. So I think I'm rambling now. Um, but I'm gonna go eat dinner. But right now I'm not stressed. What is going to be is going to be. Um, I I think there's other things that worry me that aren't mine to even hold. Um, I mean, my daughter's still going through a few things. Other loved ones I know are going through things, and the world. I can't so much worry about all the what ifs of what is going to happen. I can do what's right in front of me. So I got a job to bring in income, and I'm going to be canning, and I'm growing a garden, and I'm setting up skills and learning skills. I'm building community, and um, to I am holding on to the peace that my God is in control. Now, that doesn't mean life is going to be perfect, and that doesn't mean bad things aren't going to happen, and that doesn't mean people I love may not be hurt, but that means He is in control, and um, and I'm okay with that. So that's where I'm finding my peace, and that's what I have for tonight. So I I would love to hear your comments in the below. If you have feedback, and if you disagree with somebody, please treat people in my comment section with respect. Um, and that is it. Thank you for joining me, and we will see you soon.